Vernomatic Productions.
Are you ready?
Live from the Metal Mayhem Studios in Rochester, New York.
We are gold. We are gold.
And heard around the world by metalheads just like you. This is Metal Mayhem ROC.
Heavy metal music.
Your weekly dose of metal music, interviews, album reviews, news, and more. Want to be part of the show? Send us a message through our website, metalmayhemroc.com, or hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Search Metal Mayhem ROC, a proud member of the Pantheon podcast team.
It's getting nice and heavy.
And now, welcome tonight's host, John the Vernomatic Verno.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well, staying healthy, enjoying the springtime. Tonight, we're joined by an absolute rock and roll lifer, Dave Amato, lead guitarist for REO Speedwagon. He's been in the band for over 35 years, taking over for the late, great Gary Richrath in the late 80s. Well, Dave's here tonight to promote the just-launched Brotherhood of Rock Summer Tour, featuring Styx, Kevin Cronin's band, which is essentially REO Speedwagon with a rebranded name, and Don Felder of Eagles fame. They're talking about the tour. They're talking about what they're going to be playing, where they're playing, all that good tour logistic stuff. But then we take a walk down heavy metal memory lane and we talk about how Dave spent time with Ted Nugent in the mid 80s, playing on those albums like Little Miss Dangerous and If You Can't Lick 'Em, Lick 'Em. He's also done studio work with legends like David Lee Roth, Mötley Crüe, Richie Sambora, and he has some Kiss tales. It's really cool. Dave's a great guy. I'm so glad I reached out and finally booked this cat. We talk baseball. He's from Boston, but he's in LA now. So I put a question to him. Is he a bandwagon Dodger fan, or does he stay true to the Bo Sox? But before we get into that, as always, invite you to sign up for our newsletter. That way you get updates on everything we're doing here. Get notified about my radio show I produce and host on Metal Devastation Radio on Monday nights, and everything we're doing on YouTube. It's your one-stop shopping to stay up to speed on what we're doing. If you like what we're doing, do us a favor, leave a review, subscribe to the pod. When you do that, other metalheads get to find out about us, and we're just building the brand. All right, let's get into this. Dave Amato, REO Speedwagon guitarist, and talking about the Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, REO, and Don Felder this summer. I'm the Vernomatic, and this is Metal Mayhem ROC. Our guest today is a veteran rock guitarist. He's been in the game well over 35, 40 years, mainly with REO Speedwagon the last 35, now with the Kevin Cronin Band. He's here to talk about his career and the exciting upcoming tour this spring and summer, the Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin's REO Speedwagon, Don Felder of Eagle fame, kicks off in May, 40 dates across the states. Dave Amato, welcome to the show. How are you, buddy?
Well, good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing well. We got a lot to talk about today, and I could see through show notes that you're originally from Massachusetts. Got to ask, right. Are you a Bo Sox fan, or are you on the Dodger bandwagon? Because there's a lot on there now. Where are you going with this?
You'd have to ask me that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Tonight I'm going to the Dodger game. As a matter of fact, I am going to the Dodger game. I've turned into a Dodger fan, but my heart is still at the Red Sox. My heart's still in Boston. If it comes down to the playoffs, the World Series, I don't know who to pick. I probably go back to the Red Sox maybe. But for now, during the season, I can go to Dodger games here in LA, and it's so much fun. My buddy and I go all the time. We just went Saturday night. We're going again tonight. So I have fun doing it. I love baseball. So.
Well, you know what? Have a beer and a Dodger dog for me tonight, and have a good time. Talking about good time, Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin's REO Speedwagon, Don Felder of Eagle fame, kicks off in May, 40 dates across the states. Now, they're billing the Styx portion as they're doing Grand Illusion in its entirety. Are you guys doing High Infidelity in its entirety?
Yeah, we're going to do High Infidelity. And And then, we pick up the other songs that we, are not on high infidelity, at the end of the show, like we did in Vegas. We did that in Vegas too. We had a good run in Vegas at the Venetian, and that's what we did. We did high infidelity, and then we did the rest of the songs at the end, and it works out great. So we're kind of used to that set. I don't know what we're going to have, because we had an hour and a half in Vegas, and I think this is only 75. So we got to cram as many songs, as many hits as in the 75 minutes. I don't know. Kevin's going to, write out the set. I don't know what he wants to do, but we're going to do as many high infidelity. And high infidelity songs are pretty short, so we might get it all in. I'm not sure, so we're going to try. But they're fun to play, man. They're really fun to play.
You took over for Gary Richrath, the original guitarist. Did you have a relationship with Gary? Did you know him beforehand or anything?
No, I did not. No, I joined the band, and I only saw him about 3 times during my, when he was alive. He came out a couple of times to see us. I didn't really know him. I mean, I respect the guy. I took his place, and he's a great guitar player, and I'm thankful to have that job for 36 years, that he paved the way for me. I just love the guy, and I respect his playing. So, and I play the songs, I Can't Fight This Feeling. I play, the song, the solo that he played. I don't want to play something different, because, his solos were crafted really well in those songs. So, if there's a song that I can, just do what I want to do on it, I pick the places where, it's necessary, and then I can be me after that, But I respect Gary so much. I mean, he laid it down for me, and I'm thankful for it.
What's the chances of Music Man making it into this year's summer REO set?
We did it last year. I don't know. Maybe we did it last year.
All right.
It was in there. So, but we have to do the high infidelity stuff, and I don't know. It's up to Kevin.
Okay.
It's up to Kevin. He bounces it off of us, but he has a projection. He writes it down and say, "What do you guys think?"
Yeah.
So, and if we got enough time, because it's a pretty short set for all the hits we have.
I know. Yeah. I just get excited. I'm jamming REO and, the whole thing.
That's great. No, you're a fan. I love it. And me too. I love those songs too. Music Man is fun to play. I got to tell you, we did it all last year. Yeah, we rocked it.
Well, there's more than enough REO songs for you to noodle around and, get your yayas out.
Yeah.
But like a song like Flying Turkey Trot, or like the 157 Riverside Avenue, the extended version.
Yeah, on 157, I can pretty much, do what I play the basic, theme of it, but I can pretty much 157. I can pretty much do what I want, and there's a little. Kevin and I do a little, and I mock his voice afterwards. We kind of do that thing at the end, but it's not exactly what's on the record. It's kind of like he does this thing and I just copy him. So that I go. But the turkey trot I never done, because that was like Gary's baby. So we've never done that one, and I don't know what the fans would say about that. Like, oh, he's playing Gary's. I don't want to get into that lane. But I mean, hey, I respect it. It's a great song, and that was Gary's whole thing. So let it stay Gary's. And I can do other things. Hey, I have a solo. What's great about REO Speedwagon, there's a guitar solo in every single song. So what a gig for a guitar player. It's insane.
Now, you mentioned the fans. Just like any other great longtime band, the fans are territorial. How were they when you took over?
Oh, it was relentless.
Was it brutal?
It took me years to I think they accepted me, but Gary was their fan favorite, and it took a long time for them to accept me into their world, and as even sometimes they did come out and say, like, hey, Gary, that was a great show. It's like, wait, I'm not Gary, I'm Dave. So, but it took a while, and then now, it's after so many years, it's great. So, and sometimes they say, like, on the internet, like, oh, the band's not the same because Gary's not there. Gary passed away, and then but those are the fans that haven't come out and seen this band, with me and Brian and Matt Bissonette on bass. We just acquired him last year from Elton John. He's a monster, So the band is just smoking lately, and I hope you come out to see it, and you'll see, man, we've been on fire. Last year we had a big tour with Train, and we just kicked. It was awesome.
Now, do you mix up the set list? Of course, there's the staples you got to play, but does Kevin ever turn to you and say, hey, Dave, this leg of the tour, are there a couple other ones you want to get into set, or are there rotating songs so you keep it fresh as it is?
Well, yeah, he does that, at the beginning of the year, like what he feels like he wants to sing or express, that year or whatever, I mean, he picks it because he wants to, say something. He likes the lyrics. That's how he picks the songs. He likes to sing, so the lyrics mean something for him, and he said, well, we played this song enough, maybe let's go to this one, so he's the quarterback, so he usually calls the plays, but I mean, we can all chime in and say, yeah, let's do that one, he throws it out there. What do you think about that one? He's like, yeah, let's do it, let's do that one. Let's work it up. Let's see how it goes,
Well, what's the best part about being in this band?
Oh, I tell you, it's a family. It's a real, after 36 years, all these bands break up. Of course, there's a little conflict with the divorce of Bruce here, but these have been my friends and my family for 36 years, that means a lot to me. It's a brotherhood and a real bond. I mean, it's like a marriage. It's a marriage, and it's a long marriage. And to ride in the bus together, one bus, same guys, and a lot of bands go like, oh, I want my own bus, and da da da. But we all get along, same bus, and it's a great brotherhood and a family. And I cherish that, and they're all my friends, Like some bands, oh, I hate the other guy, but I'm playing with him. But, no, it's not like that in REO, and it's good when we get together and play music. It's the best. It's the ultimate.
Now, you say that and that's sincere, but with this recent divorce with Neil and everything that's going on, or what is the root of this breakup? Can it be repaired?
Well, it's a divorce. And I say, because Brian, the drummer, and I have been in the band for 36 years, it's kind of like a divorce between Kevin and Bruce, really. And we're kind of like the kids in the divorce, Brian and I. That's the way I like to explain it. We're like the kids, like saying, can we work this out, or not? But it seems like lately they just can't come to an agreement. It's really sad. It's a tough situation.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Alan Gratzer, the longtime drummer, he retired.
Yes.
Bruce Hall, did he retire, or was he sick? And Neil Dowdy, the keyboard player. So
Neil retired. Neil retired like 2 years ago, or maybe more now. 2.5 years ago, I guess.
So Alan retired, Neil retired.
Yes.
And Bruce was sick.
Well, Bruce had a back problem. He had real back problems. So we took some time off to, for him to get well, and he wanted to come back, and he just didn't seem like he was, healthy enough or healed up enough to really come back, although he said he was, but it just seemed like he wasn't. When we saw him, he was supposed to come out in like March, and he didn't do it. And then he was supposed to come out in June. And then when we saw him, he didn't look like he was all, 100%. So, we just said, well, Bruce, why don't you just, stay home and take care of yourself, while we go out to the summer with Train,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess that's what, it all agreed to do, but then it kind of blew up from there, it kind of got messy with all the back and forth on the internet, which was not good, which was really not good. It shouldn't have put that stuff, out to the public on that, because we should have kept it, or whoever should have kept it private, on that note. So it kind of blew up from there, and it got really ugly.
One last question, then we're going to take a deep dive into Nugent, talk fun stuff. Basically, Kevin Cronin said he was a little hurt and a little shocked that he wasn't invited to this Chicago invite of the original REO.
Yeah, and rightly so. I mean, there's supposed to be a tribute or a celebration of REO Speedwagon, and you don't have Kevin there. And they, I mean, come on, everybody knows the dates for this summer. That we, I didn't get invited. Brian didn't get invited. We have 36 years in the band. So yeah, I was kind of a little slap in the face, I guess, and especially with Kevin. I mean, God, he's the lead singer of REO Speedwagon for so long, wrote the songs, and if they want to do a celebration, he should be involved. And it's kind of and they knew we were on the road, so I don't know. They did it on purpose. I don't know, I don't know what to say about that, but they knew we were on the road, and they made this thing, and it's kind of like, it's a little funny.
Yeah, it is a little funny. Well,
yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent, little Lee Roth, little Mötley Crüe. We're with Dave Amato, guitarist of the Kevin Cronin Band, and we'll be right back.
Metal Mayhem ROC.
We're talking with Dave Amato, guitarist of the Kevin Cronin Band, this summer's hot tour, the Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin Band, and Don Felder. You spent some time with the crazy one, Nuge, in the 80s. 2 albums.
Yes.
Little Miss Dangerous, and If You Can't Lick 'Em, Lick 'Em. I had a chance to see the tour twice in Rochester, New York.
Did you?
Yeah, one time you opened for Aerosmith at the Rochester Memorial.
Yeah.
And then you guys ran to the studio, put together If You Can't Lick 'Em, Lick 'Em, and you came back with Kiss. How'd you get involved in Nuge?
Well, it was Ricky Phillips, I'm sure you know, from Styx and the Babies, and he's just a dear friend of mine. I mean, to this day, I love Ricky Phillips. We did a lot of projects in the 80s, and he said to me one time, this is like 1985, I think it was. He said to me, like, I think he knew the Nugent's manager, and he said, "Hey, Ted's looking for a lead singer, guitar player. And I think you'd fit the bill on this one,
Mm-hmm.
So he basically got me the audition, and I went in there. There was another guy who I knew, and we had an audition, and then I got the gig. And Ted was in the middle of the Little Miss Dangerous record. I think he had it half done, and then I came in, and he was looking for a lead singer, and I sang half the record. It was like 85, so just went in there, and he put me under fire, and we did the record together, the second half of the record together.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, we're gonna do the Texas Jam, and that year, just one show, the Texas Jam that he did, I think, every year at that time.
Yeah.
So, and we rehearsed for 10 days, And then my first gig, and I said to him, "Aren't we going to play like a club gig or something?" I mean, I just joined the band basically, you know. And he said, "No, I like to break my boys in right, you know." And it was 91,000 at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, and I was singing half the show. It was wild. That was my first show, and Tommy Aldrich was on drums then for that gig. I was playing with Tommy. It's amazing.
Why did Aldridge play with you guys at that gig?
Ted recruited him for that show. Yeah, he recruited him because he loved Tommy's feet. You know, the double bass. You know, Tommy's amazing. So we had rehearsal. I had a good time with Tommy. We were friends at the time. I haven't talked to him in a while, but Tommy Aldridge is an incredible drummer and a great guy. We hung at that time a lot.
You're credited with one writing credit on that for Take Me Away.
Yeah, and High Heels in Motion. We co-wrote too.
Any of those ever make it into set list, live set list?
First track. God, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
May have. I can't remember. Maybe High Heels, maybe High Heels.
Like you played Angry Young Man that tour, Painkiller.
Yeah.
Little Miss
Painkiller.
Little Miss. I remember that girl you had on stage for Little Miss Dangerous. That was oh shit. Now the comment on this: Ted co-wrote a song with Bill Conti, composer of the Rocky soundtrack.
If I remember correctly, yeah, I think
the song "Strangers."
Strangers. Yeah, I think that was for a movie. So, John, you did take me way back there. I think that was specifically for a movie. I remember going in the studio with Gene Simmons. I think that was for another movie. I don't know if it was for that one. I don't know. Gene Simmons produced one of ours. We went in with Gene Simmons, and I loved Gene. He was great. It was a great producer, really calm and very good, very smart guy. So I don't know if it was for that song or what. I don't know what song it was, but that was for another movie soundtrack, I think. One song in a movie.
Well, in the mid 80s, that's when he was doing his movie thing. And, you know, he had his record label. You know, he's involved with everything but Kiss. It was that period. You know, and Paul was running the show and they ended up with, you know, purple gloves on and florals and everything. But it was the mid 80s. You ever look back at some of your pictures from 86?
Oh, I try not to. Try not to. And I had pink guitars, yellow guitars, lime green guitars. You know, when I first joined REO, I think I had a purple Jackson or something like that. And Kevin went, I don't think so. Not for REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, you got to put the glam metal stuff away. You know, we're going back.
I sold them all. All the colors, I sold them all. See ya.
Oh, geez. So the 80s, you're touring. You did the second one. If you can't lick them, lick them. So you like I said, I saw you guys saw that tour with Kiss. You guys opened up for Kiss. How was that era? Anything?
Well, you know what? That wasn't me. I had left just before the Kiss, that Kiss tour. Derek St. Holmes replaced me. That was late 87, right?
February 88. The album came out in February 88.
I was with Jimmy Barnes in Australia. I went to Jimmy Barnes.
Okay, yeah. According to I saw him 1/30/88 in Rochester. Ted Nugent.
1/30/88.
Yeah, January 30th, 88.
That was with Kiss?
Yep.
That was Derek. That was Derek. I had left in late 87.
All right, so you came late to Little Miss Dangerous, did the tour, and then it cut out.
Well, yeah, I did the If You Can't Lick 'Em record too. I finished that, and then Ted was going to go duck hunting, you know, and his hunting in the wintertime. And so I went to Australia with Jimmy Barnes because I was playing with Jimmy in the wintertime because Ted didn't tour in the winter. So I was playing with Jimmy. So I was already stuck down in Australia. And then I think he got Derek back to do some of the Kiss stuff. then.
He really, that really was his schedule. It was wrapped around hunting season. It was bow in October and then gun in November. And then who knows what's up with the spring, you know?
No, the spring. No, we started to ramp up a little bit in the spring, maybe
okay,
March.
Yeah.
So, February, March, we ramp up again for the summer. And that was the schedule. So I'd go down to Australia with Jimmy in our winter, but it was summer down there, which was really great.
Yeah.
So I'd leave California and I'd go down to Australia, which was, summertime down there. And I'd tour with Jimmy all over the place down there. And, that was really fun. I was doing, 2 things at the time, which was lucky for me. It was great. So I didn't want to break. I got a call to do that Kiss tour, but I couldn't do it. I didn't want to leave Jimmy, high and dry there right in the middle of a tour. And then Derek came back for the, to replace me. But then Ted called me in 1990 to do the Whiplash Bash tour, 3 years later or something. And I did that when I came back. And I relearned all the songs 3 years later, which is a ball. I absolutely love Ted Nugent. He's the greatest. I mean, he gave me a shot to lead sing in 1985, 86, and we had a ball together. And he's still my friend to this day. Really good friend.
Do you have a chance to see him much?
Yeah, well, I just did a thing. I think he's coming out with a book, and I just did a little thing for, saying some things for his book, so I think this is coming out.
I saw him last August up here in Rochester. Yeah, Adios Amigo tour. I actually had a chance to see Nugent a bit in the last couple of years.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw him up in Niagara Falls, and, hey, I love Ted. I love his music.
Me too.
It is what it is. Everyone has a soapbox, whatever. But I'll go there and have them jam fucking 12 minutes of Stranglehold and have them do Paralyzed. And I'm like, yes, that's what I came here for.
Let me tell you, you got to split it in half. He's a Hall of Fame guitar player.
I know.
Come on.
I know.
You know what I mean? In the 70s, he was playing stadiums. He was selling out stadiums. And you're going to forget about that? I mean, I just don't think that's fair at all. If you ask me, he's the Hall of Fame. Give him his due, man. He's all those years of touring and making records and playing incredible guitar, I mean, it makes me kind of mad, He's a Hall of Famer. Absolutely.
Well, everything comes full circle. So in that period, when was the first time you heard anything about the damn Yankees? Because all your boys are in it,
Yeah.
Tommy Shaw, Ted, Jack Blades.
I love Jack. Love Jack Blades. Michael
Cardellone on drums.
Oh, he's a monster with that band. I saw that band in L.A. With Ted, because I was friends with Ted and Jack too. So I went to see him, and I was like, not the band, and Tommy, of course. Tommy, I love Tommy. But I didn't know Michael, and when I went to see the band, I'm like, oh, who's this drummer? I mean, he was the standout for sure. Not to mention the other guys that are monsters. All of them. Jack and Tommy sing it together. Oh, I went. I don't know if Nugent. If I remember correct, God, it's so long ago. You're bringing up all this old stuff. They were in L.A. I think recording High Enough, and Ted invited me down to the studio, and they were in the studio, and that the record didn't even come out yet. And I think on the speakers, I went in there, and they played High Enough. I went, oh my God, this is a monster hit. Before it came out, it was the vocals and the instruments and the wow. I said, oh, it's over.
I'm glad that you say that because I loved those two. I saw the tour many times. That's when we had Simon Kirk on the show a couple weeks ago. And
Simon.
Yeah. And so Simon told the story about when Bad Company and Damn Yankees they would tour together every summer. They'd flip-flop headline. And one time Simon went up to Ted and he asked him, in that English accent that I won't try to do. But he asked him, he goes, what's the origins of the guitar strap or whatever? And Ted went ahead and said that, he shot it himself and, everything. And then like the raccoon tail. But that's sincere. He's just sincere. And he wasn't doing the bow and arrow thing when you were doing Little Miss Dangerous tour.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Is that when it?
Yeah. 86. Sure. Well, one time, I got a story. One time, I was like in the middle, like just zoning out or something, playing the guitar and so and he used to put a guitar like a big Gibson Birdland, one of those big thick ones, was in the back, hung on the back of the stage in back of me, So I'm like zoning out. I got my eyes closed and I'm rocking out. And I just happened to like look up, and he had the bow cocked like this, and like the guitar was behind me. He's like this, like, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Get out of the way. Out of the way. And I was like, oh, damn. So I got out of there, and he never missed, man. Right in the middle of that Birdland guitar, He never missed. But for a minute, I was like, well, what's he doing? Uh-oh, it's coming after me, So yeah, he did it. He did it with me.
What was your favorite Nugent songs, the old stuff to play? Now you sang. Did you sing Stranglehold?
I sang Stranglehold, yeah.
Yeah.
Sang Stranglehold, just what the doctor ordered. I sang all the stuff that Derek sang. Original stuff. Yeah. That was fun, man. Cat Scratch Fever, because it was always fun, and Ted sang that one, of course. But that was always fun. Hey baby, great riff,
Oh, well,
it was,
Nugent's like with REO and these bands, like the whole concert is songs they have to play. It's like, but like, nothing like Yank Me, Crank Me, or,
Wait, we started with Yank Me, Crank Me.
Yeah, you're right.
We started the set with Yank Me, Crank Me. Yep. Yep. I remember Ted at the Philadelphia Spectrum, right? And I was in the band. I was new in the band, 86, play with Aerosmith. And I don't know how much, 20,000 people out there. And he came out first, with like tassels, like what Roger Daltrey used to wear, and he came out there, and the crowd just, and this is 86, the crowd just went berserk. He just walked out there in the middle of the, with a spot, and he just had the crowd, and it was deafening. I was like, oh my, on the side of the stage waiting for him to, to start. And it was, that's what I'm saying, he's the Hall of Famer. If people saw him or whatever, or, the powers to be saw that, would go, oh my God, he was just a force to be reckoned with, and he had this, the Birdland guitar up in this, the scaffolding, and it just came down. He's in the middle of the thing, and he's like he prayed to the Lord to come down, and this guitar would come down out of the rafters, slowly came down, and they would go nuts, and it would come down, and he put the strap on, and he'd hit like an A chord, and it was insane how the power he had, and I witnessed it. It was goosebumpy. It was like, wow, And then we come out and do Yank Me, Crack Me.
Yeah. But don't wake up to thank me. Yeah. When was the last time you saw Nugent live?
Oof. Oh boy. A couple of years ago, maybe, when he came through town, maybe.
Yeah.
If I was in town 2-3 years ago, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes he used to invite me up there, and I'd play Hey Baby with him, whatever, guitar with him. He'd invite me up, and I'd play with him sometimes. And a couple of times when Derek was around, so Ted would play guitar, I would play guitar, and Derek would just front it and sing it. That was the ultimate. I had my friends up there, and it was great.
The last few tours, he's been Fred Bear has been the long version. And it's just like, even though it's a long song, and, it's like he would do that. And after a while, you forget, hey, well, what song are we in? And then he would come back into it. And a couple of those tours, he revisited Hibernation. And it's like, Dave, it brings a fan like me back to 1977, 78 as I'm going through those albums. I remember when I was a kid. Now, this is back in the late 70s, and, staying up past 12 o'clock when you're, 11 years old, that was late. But I remember watching the late night Don Kirshner's rock concert and seeing that, and then seeing Nugent at California Jam with the white jumpsuit with the suspenders. And what kind of guitar was that? Was it the big hollow body? And
the Birdland. Yeah. The Birdland.
And and then you think back, how young he really was?
Yeah. I believe me, 85. I joined him in 85. That was a while ago, and he had the loincloth with me too, He had the loincloth and the tail in the back. It was great. It was an experience for me.
Like I shared, my first concert was Ted Nugent's Scream Dream. But Dave, we didn't know about encores. So the concert ends and we're walking out of the hockey rink, and all of a sudden we hear the crowd going nuts. We turn around, we see Nugent swinging on this vine, going from stage to stage, and he has the whole show. He had the loincloth on with those boots, and he I don't know, he went into paralyzed or something, it was right from the beginning. You talk about goosebumps. Fantastic memories.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It doesn't, matter whatever, the people are saying. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no question about it.
Sure.
It's like, come on, it's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. I mean, you saw it, and I was a witness to it. I was there. So come on, it's stupid not to have him go in there as a incredible guitar player, and I don't know. It's just, I don't like it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have to give the Ugly American Werewolf in London podcast a plug, because in April 2nd, that episode, the Vernomatic for Metal Mayhem ROC, is going to be on there with my first concert memories of Ted Nugent.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, you should tell people about that. Yeah, that's good. People should know. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite Nugent song of all time?
Wow. I would say Stranglehold. It's fun to play, It's a great vocal. I have to say Stranglehold for sure.
We're talking with Dave Amato, guitarist of the Kevin Cronin Band, this summer's hot tour, the Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin Band, and Don Felder. Well, let's talk about your time with David Lee Roth. You did some stuff in the studio, and Mötley Crüe. What'd you do with those bands?
Well, we were doing a record with Ted. It might have been the Lick'em record, I think, if you can Lick'em. And Mötley was they were right next door doing Girls, 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 and they needed some background vocals. And they loved Ted.
Yeah.
At that time, they loved Ted Nugent. And, I was his lead singer. So I went in there and we cut Girls, Girls, Girls and Wild Side in one day. They were working on those two songs. And even at that time, I thought, those two songs were like, oh my God, those are hit records, Girls, Girls, Girls were like, wow.
Yeah.
And I got to sing backgrounds on it, and I got friends at the time with Nikki Sixx. So I ended up doing a bunch of stuff after that with the crew. Every time Nikki would call me, say, okay, Dave, come in. I didn't play any guitar. I just sang background vocals. So I was a session singer, backgrounds, and I did Decade of Decadence too. a couple of songs in that. Primal Scream. You know, that's how Primal Scream.
Yeah. That's one of the better later catalog songs.
Yeah, I did that one with Tommy Lee and I, you know, saying "Scream, shout."
Yeah, rock out or whatever the lyrics are.
Yeah. We that's me and Tommy.
Where'd they record that? Was that one-on-one in LA or was that Vancouver?
No. I think Dr. Feelgood was Vancouver. They did Decade. I did some demos on Decade over here in California, in Chatsworth, I think it was.
Okay.
And some of the demos, they kept Primal Scream. I think I did some of the vocals over there in Chatsworth. Conway was the Girls record. I think Conway Studios in LA at the time. I don't even know.
Was Bob Rock doing that one?
Bob Rock? No. Tom Werman?
Okay.
I think it was Tom Werman. I think. Girls? I think Tom Werman did Girls, I think.
Yeah, because Girls was 87. Feel Good was 88, 89. And then that's when Rock came in. Then they went to Canada because Bob's Canadian.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I did do backgrounds on a Vince Neil record with Bob Rock producing. We did a Chicago song, 25 or 624. I don't even know where that is. It's on one of Vince's solo records, I guess. I'm not sure where that landed, but I did some background vocals, and I think Bob did the recording for that one. I think it was Vince Neil's solo record.
Yeah, was that the Steve Stevens? Steve Stevens played guitar in it. Exposed?
I just came in to sing background vocals at the time. The track was pretty much done, I think.
What about David Lee Roth?
Well, a friend of mine, Brett Tuggle, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, played for David Lee Roth,
keyboard player,
and Rick Springfield.
Yep,
wonderful friend of mine. I miss him dearly. We used to sing a lot of backgrounds together, and we'd go in and sing, some backgrounds for the live stuff to put on the emulators at the time, for background vocals. And we did Rick Springfield stuff way back in the 80s. And he called me in to do some background vocals on David Lee Roth stuff with him because he was in the band at the time.
Yeah.
So I did some backgrounds on David Lee Roth stuff.
That
was a ball. That was awesome. It's great.
Well, Van Halen's my favorite band of all time.
Great. Eddie. Oof.
Yeah. Have a relationship with Eddie at all?
I used to see him at Bob Bradshaw's. I used to go over there and, he used to be working on his pedal boards with Bob, and I sold my soul to get a Bob Bradshaw pedal board at the time. And I used to go over there, just hang out and see Eddie over there all the time. And I saw Eddie a few times when Sammy got in the band. I went to see him, on tour like that.
Yeah.
But, I didn't hang out with him or anything. I should have. I wish I had, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I used to see him. When I see him, I said hi and we spoke, whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's my favorite. I had a chance to meet Alex this fall in New York for his book signing.
Oh, yeah? Oh, nice.
And it was, Dave, I'll tell you, it was awesome. It was, you had a chance to ask him one question.
What'd you ask him?
I asked him if he remembered Diver Down tour in Syracuse. It was Dave's birthday, and they brought out a big cake, and they smothered him. And at the end of the show, when they were singing Happy Trails, and when he turned around, Alex slipped on the frosting and bopped his head, and he got up. And I asked him if he remembered that. He said, was that the show with Ted? I go, Ted? He goes, yeah, Ted Nugent. I'm like, no, Al, that was the 70s. That was the 70s. He goes, oh, no. And he remembered my name. I said, hey, my name's Johnny. He goes, that's how cool he was. He goes, no, John, that was like a lot of years ago, a lot of tours ago, and a lot of misbehaving ago. but we took a couple pictures, and, it I just wanted to break the ice a little bit and just
sure, I get it. Yeah,
but,
I mean, like you're bringing up some things. I'm not sure if I know the dates. You know what I mean? I'm like, like the set list. Just say, well, did you play this? I'm like, God, I don't remember. You know?
I know.
But
I just get excited.
Oh no, that was cool. No, yeah, you're a fan. I'm a fan too. You know, I'm a fan of Eddie's and the Van Halen crew and Sammy and Michael Anthony is, Sammy first, is a friend, and I love Sammy Hagar. He's amazing. And Michael Anthony too. And Michael's a sweetheart, unbelievable bass player and singer. And those two guys, like I know, pretty well. So I went last year. We saw, the Sammy's, Van Halen thing, out there. REO went to one show last year, and I hung with Michael over there and Sammy, and that was such a great tour last year. It was amazing, so.
What else is going on in the Dave Amato brand? Anything else you need to plug or publicize?
Oh, look, I'm advertising Norm's rare guitars.
Yeah, I saw that.
You see the documentary on Norm's
rare
guitars?
Who's Norm?
On Netflix.
No, what is Norm's rare guitars? What is it?
Oh, it's a guitar store. Norm Harris in LA, famous guitar store. It's he's got a documentary on Netflix. I think it's still on there. You should look it up.
Okay.
And Richie Sambora's a lot of guest stars on there, and I was in there too. It's just check it out. It's a great documentary on the. He was he's a pioneer of vintage guitars. Trying to buy all these vintage guitars which I love. I'm a collector.
Yeah. And
as Bonamassa is, as Richie Sambora is, all of us are guitar nerds, and. Yeah. And Norm is the pioneer of that. He's the grandfather of that. So go check it out.
You mentioned.
I don't want to say. I want to say in '91 I played with Richie Sambora, who's one of my dearest friends ever, and I think Richie Sambora is incredible musician and human being. I got to tell you, Sambora's my buddy, and he's amazing.
You mentioned before that up here in Rochester, you've been to the House of Guitars several times. Can you share a House of Guitar story?
It's just it's a house. You have to spend hours in there just trying to find something. It's the incredible guitar store was not normal at all.
No.
And is the record store still down in the basement?
Yep. Listeners, the House of Guitars in Rochester, it's in this old house. It's a big house, and it literally is 3 or 4 stories. And they've added on throughout the years. There's tons and tons of records in the back area. But then you go to the front, and there's amps everywhere. There's a stage where they play. Now they have an outside jam area.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. In the summer months. And Dave, I would not be surprised if there is still records there that when I was a teenager going there and buying stuff. They just,
sure.
It's just huge. It's great. And the slogan, the great House of Guitars, and 3 brothers own it. It's a family business, and they're on the premises. They're there all the time. It's now, have you ever been there while you're not on tour? Like,
no, just, to get to Rochester, we're usually touring, and I got my fingers crossed if I get a day off, or even if I don't during the day. I mean, I wake up early and I'm at the door before it opens, just to look, because it takes hours to look through. I say it's a mess, but it's a cool mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to look through all the stuff. And I love that about a guitar store, when it's just thrown in there and you got to dig, and it should take like 2 days to go through there, but I usually only have one. And I spent hours there just finding gems in the pile of equipment that's in there. It's the best guitar store ever. It's amazing.
Well,
it's a house.
Yeah, you have a Syracuse, New York date on the Brotherhood of Rock Tour. We have each other's emails. We'll check it out. Maybe the schedule is where you could stop in and we'll meet up. But I will be hitting up the show. Definitely.
If it is, I'll grab a cup of coffee with you. We'll go over there. I love that store.
Love it. Love
That's
it.
amazing. I bought so many guitars there and stuff. I bought a Super Beetle from Andy when Andy used to Babic.
Oh yeah, from the Chesterfield Kings.
Yes.
Yeah.
He used to work there.
Yeah.
And I bought a bunch of stuff from him.
They just got back together.
Oh yeah,
The Chesterfield. We're talking about
Kings. Oh
yeah, yeah.
Well, he's got a great guitar store there, right? The Fab. Fab Gear. Andy store.
I'm not a guitarist. It just goes over my head.
Well, yeah, we gotta get you going there. Let's go.
I'm the best air guitarist ever. I tried guitar in 7th grade, and I just appreciate from abroad. So,
Oh, that's okay. That's great.
all right, Dave. I think we'll wrap this one up, and maybe we'll have a part 2 after the tour. But again,
You got it.
The Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin Band, Don Felder, and dates across America. Where can people get tickets? Just Google Kevin Cronin Band. Is that the easiest way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say sure. Or Live Nation.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Good luck
Okay,
tonight
man.
at the game.
Thanks, bud.
Dodger Blue. If I have to say it, you're my friend, so I'll support you. But go Yanks. All right, for my guest, Dave Amato, I'm the Vernomatic. This is Metal Mayhem ROC. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, bud. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you later.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.